Murray. So I'm going to say the Minnesota Vikings. Look,
Hey,
the NFC North is tough, brother. You know that. That's your division. That's you know all about that. But sometimes you just got to go with feel, right? And I feel like the Vikings offense with Jefferson is this is a tough team, man. This is a good offense. And last year wasn't so much, but we're throwing darts here right now.
Yeah.
We're throwing darts. I'm just going to say I feel like the Vikings, they got something to prove, and I think they're going to be a better team than most people are giving them.
Well, speaking of 14-3, they were just 2 years removed of that 14-3 record, and the only change they really made was a quarterback position. So, we'll see. Obviously, Sam Darnold, and they go to JJ, and, you see what happens.
And who knows? It might not. Maybe JJ gets this job. Obviously, the odds makers, Chris, are saying it's going to be Kyler, but who knows? But when you have that wide receiver core, that receiving core, when you count the tight end, I feel like you're never going to be out of the game.
And you got B-Flow on defense, and that is a dynamic defense, too. So we'll see. Yeah. All right.
I didn't even get to the
I like the Vikings. I hope they lose every single game they play. But, I'll go. I'm with you on that. Brockman, let's snake it over
next?
to you.
Okay. Man.
What you got?
I think I'm going to stay in the South.
Okay.
And I'm going here. New head coach.
Yep.
Maybe the number one fantasy player heading into this season. Dynamic wide receiver. But again, like you, TJ, questions at the quarterback position. But sometimes you need a change of scenery. And I think Tua needed a change of scenery. And going to Atlanta and hooking up with Kevin Stefanski. And you talk about a winnable division. I think... you got 7 behind. You got Bijan Robinson back there and a good defense. A lot of high draft choices on that defense. I think Atlanta could be a surprise team this year. Granted, Tua stays healthy. Always a question mark. And, I know Michael Penix is there, but it doesn't mean he's coming off another injury. And so if this is a change of scenery, grass is greener, new offense for Tua, new life, second act here for him with Bijan, and Kyle Pitts really came on last year, finally living up to the promise of his, high draft selection, and, he's still very young. I think Atlanta could be, one of those red zone teams that we're seeing, like another big play in Atlanta, another big play here, another touchdown pass from Tua. And I think I'm going to go Falcons here as a sleeper team for this season.
I like this. I like where we're at right now. Okay. All right. I like these. I'm not convinced on Atlanta, although I will say Bijan Robinson really, that's an animal.
Beast.
Right, he's good for like 5 wins by himself, at least. You know what I mean? Like he's just, they can play him on defense too. Might up that to 7. He's so good and a cool dude too. Awesome dude as well. I am going to go a place I never thought I would go.
Uh-oh.
This is paining me to do this. I feel it deep inside my heart. Like I'm almost not going to do it, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to go with Pittsburgh Steelers.
I was thinking,
and Aaron Rodgers.
That was almost my pick.
It's pain. It's pain for me to say this.
Last dance for Rodgers.
It's his last dance, and that's what I'm saying. It's his last dance. It's his last crack. He knows that, and now he's got Big Mike back. He's going to have an offensive system that he wants to run. They added a weapon on the outside to go with DK. I believe they have Michael Pittman Jr., if I'm not mistaken there.
Michael Pittman, man.
I don't know. And Rodgers,
upgraded their running back situation.
He's not moving the ball down the field the way he used to when he was younger. He can still rocket it when he needs to, but he is such an incredible game manager, and you got some of it a little bit here and there in some of these games where he's out there seeing the defense. And these quarterbacks just don't exist anymore, where he sees the defense and he can diagnose immediately and change the play. And now that he's got a little bit more control of that this season, I think that's going to be a dangerous team. Plus, they play. I know it's a tough division. Okay, I'm not sleeping on Cincinnati and I'm not sleeping on Baltimore, but Baltimore, they're in flux. Right, they have a great quarterback and some good weapons there, but we don't know what Jesse Minter is going to be like.
Yeah,
They're coach. Moving on from a Super Bowl head coach and John Harbaugh. And look, is Cincinnati going to do it? Like, are they going to have a defense? And is Joe Burrow going to stay healthy? There's just a lot of questions in that division. Cleveland is a disaster. You trade away Defensive Player of the Year, so you're just constantly rebuilding in Cleveland, it feels like. I think they won this division last season. They won this division, and I think they're a better team this year than they were last year. So I'm saying I think basically where they're sitting from the odds makers have them pretty low. I think they're going to exceed expectations. I think they're either going to they're going to compete in this division. Like, they're not going to be a doormat. Like, it's not just Burrow and Lamar. Like, I really think Rodgers is going to have one last go at it. Big Mike in his corner. We'll see, baby. God, I can't believe I'm rooting for Aaron Rodgers. I can't believe I just did that.
Aaron Rodgers.
Plus, on defense, you still got Hayward, Watt, Queen.
And you don't know how many. You don't know how many years you got left with Cam Hayward. I mean, I'm just saying, like, they're playing. It feels like they're playing for something.
Steelers Nation. What if the team nobody wants to believe in is quietly becoming the most dangerous underdog in the AFC? In that surprise team draft, the Vikings were praised for their weapons. Atlanta was picked because of its offensive upside. But then came the choice that changed the entire conversation, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listen to how reluctant the analyst sounded. He did not want to say it. It almost hurt him to admit it. But he still looked at this roster, looked at Aaron Rodgers, looked at Mike McCarthy, and said Pittsburgh could exceed expectations. That matters, because sometimes the strongest endorsement comes from somebody who was not looking for a reason to believe in your team. The argument begins with Rodgers and his final dance. He is no longer the quarterback who wants to launch the football 60 yards on every possession, and nobody should pretend otherwise. But he can still diagnose a defense, identify pressure, change the play, and put the offense in the correct situation before the ball is snapped. That type of experience is rare. Give him DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman Jr., Pat Freiermuth, and an offensive system he already understands, and suddenly Pittsburgh has a veteran quarterback surrounded by physical targets who can make his decisions easier. The panel also made another important point. The AFC North has questions everywhere. Baltimore is dealing with major transition. Cincinnati still has defensive concerns and the constant question of whether Joe Burrow can remain healthy. Cleveland was described as a complete mess. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, won the division and may now have a better roster than the one that accomplished it. That is why this team cannot be dismissed as some harmless underdog. But now, let us add one more possibility to this conversation, and this is where things get interesting. Kyle Van Noy. Nothing is official. There is no confirmed Steelers offer and no report that a deal is close. Van Noy remains a free agent and has publicly made it clear that he plans to continue playing. But if Pittsburgh wants one more experienced defender for Rodgers' final run, this is the type of veteran worth examining. Van Noy has played 12 NFL seasons, won 2 Super Bowls, and built a career around intelligence, versatility, and timely pressure. He can rush from the edge, move around the formation, understand different assignments, and help younger defenders recognize what an offense is trying to do. At this point, the Steelers would not be signing him to become the face of the defense. TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Patrick Queen, and the current core already carry that responsibility. Van Noy would be a situational weapon, a rotational pass rusher, and another veteran voice for the moments when one defensive stop decides the game. And that is exactly why the move could make sense. Pittsburgh is not rebuilding for some distant future. Rodgers is on his final ride. Hayward is still fighting against time. This team appears to understand that the opportunity is now. Adding Van Noy on a one-year incentive-heavy contract could provide depth without creating long-term financial damage. No massive guarantee, no promise that he starts. Come in, earn your snaps, and help this defense attack the AFC North. There would also be something fascinating about taking a respected former Ravens defender and bringing him directly into Pittsburgh's locker room. He understands the division. He understands the physical style. He knows what playoff football feels like, and he has already played in championship environments. That knowledge has value when December arrives and every possession becomes a fight. The Steelers should not make this move because of his name or because of what he accomplished years ago. They should make it only if the medical evaluation is clean, the role is clear, and the price is controlled. But under those conditions, this could be a smart finishing move. The Vikings may surprise people, Atlanta may surprise people, but Pittsburgh has something those teams cannot manufacture: a championship identity, a veteran quarterback with nothing left to save for later, and a defense built to punish mistakes. If Rodgers controls the offense, if Metcalf and Pittman deliver, and if Pittsburgh adds one more experienced pass rusher like Van Noy, this team could become a legitimate problem for everybody who already handed the division to Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow. Steelers Nation, would you bring Kyle Van Noy to Pittsburgh on a low-risk one-year deal, or should the Steelers trust the defenders already on the roster? Drop your opinion in the comments, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me right now, are the Steelers simply an underdog, or are they about to become the biggest surprise in the entire AFC?